Welcome to Law Days Lattes, the podcast where we blend the world of law and business with a warm cup of information and common sense. I'm your host, Sidney, attorney, real estate investor, and business owner. Each week, we'll be your go-to source for legal insights, business advice, and so much more. Whether you're a seasoned professional, an ambitious entrepreneur, or simply someone seeking guidance, we'll have you covered. From navigating the legal landscape to empowering you with valuable business strategies, we'll explore the legal side of life and enjoy a virtual latte along the way. So, grab your favorite latte, get comfortable, and let's dive in to Law Days Lattes. Welcome back to Law Days Lattes. I'm your host, Sidney Whelan, founder of the Whelan Law Firm, serving businesses and families in North Central Missouri in 3 convenient locations, Moberly, Carrollton, and Paris. I'm so glad you're joining me today. As many of you know, in addition to practicing law, I have the privilege of serving as the president of our local League of Women Voters. One of the most rewarding things we do every election cycle is host candidate forums before both the primary election and the general election. These forums are open to the public. Every qualified candidate is invited to participate. Every candidate is asked the same questions under the same rules, and the forums are recorded and posted on our League of Women Voters Facebook page so that anyone can watch them before Election Day. Our purpose isn't to tell people who to vote for. Our purpose is to help people become informed voters. I believe that's one of the greatest responsibilities we have as citizens. On Tuesday, August 4th, Missourians will head to the polls to vote in the primary election. In addition to choosing nominees for many local and state offices, voters will also decide several proposed constitutional amendments. Today, I don't want to tell you how to vote. I want to encourage you to vote, and more importantly, to become informed before you do. Because voting is more than a constitutional right. It's one of the greatest responsibilities of citizenship. So why do primaries matter? One of the biggest misconceptions I hear is this: I'll just vote in November. But the reality is that many important decisions are made long before the general election. In many communities, the primary election effectively determines who will ultimately hold office. Primary elections also tend to have a much lower voter turnout than general elections. That means every individual vote carries even greater weight. Sometimes significant policy questions or constitutional amendments are also scheduled for a primary election. Whether that timing reflects legal requirements or political strategy, one thing is certain: fewer people usually vote in primaries than they do in the general election in November. And that's exactly why your participation matters. If you care about the future of our community, our county, and our state, don't wait until November to become engaged. Understanding the constitutional amendments. This year's ballot includes several proposed constitutional amendments, and 2 of them have generated significant discussion across Missouri. Rather than telling you which side is right, I want to encourage you to understand the arguments on both sides. So Amendment 4. One proposal would change the process for approving future citizen-initiated constitutional amendments. Supporters of this amendment say that the current initiative petition process makes it far too easy to amend the state constitution, and it also underrepresents the rural areas of the state. The new proposal would require statewide support before Missouri's constitution can be amended by the initiative petition process. Opponents of Amendment 4 believe that the new proposed process goes too far. It is too restrictive and would make it difficult, if not impossible, for citizens to amend the Constitution using the initiative petition process. Whether you agree with one side or the other, it's important to understand how the amendment could affect the initiative petition process for years to come. The second important amendment that's on the Missouri Constitution is Amendment 5. It is a proposal that addresses Missouri's tax structure. Supporters of Amendment 5 argue that gradually eliminating the state income tax could improve economic competitiveness, attract businesses, and allow Missourians to keep more of what they earn. Opponents of Amendment 5 express concern that reducing income tax revenue would place greater reliance on sales taxes, effectively raising the cost of goods and services, increasing taxes and costs for senior citizens and lower-income households who can least afford it, and potentially affect funding for state and local services over time. Again, there are thoughtful people on both sides of this issue. Please take time to read the language, review reliable sources, and decide for yourself. Democracy requires participation. One of the things I love most about moderating our candidate forums is watching democracy happen in real time. Candidates answer difficult questions. Citizens learn about issues that affect their everyday lives. People may disagree, and that's okay. Respectful disagreement has always been part of our democracy. The goal isn't for everyone to think alike. The goal is for everyone to have an opportunity to learn enough to make an informed decision. And that's exactly why the League of Women Voters exists. We don't endorse candidates, and we don't tell people how to vote. We believe an informed voter is the strongest foundation of a healthy democracy. Freedom carries responsibility. As an attorney, I spend my days helping people protect their families, their businesses, and their legacies. I've learned something over the years. Rights and responsibilities go together. Owning property carries responsibilities. Running a business carries responsibilities. Serving in public office carries responsibilities. And voting carries responsibilities too. Before you cast your ballot, ask yourself these questions. Have I learned about the candidates? Have I read about the issues? Have I listened with an open mind? Have I verified the information I'm relying on? In a world full of headlines and social media posts, informed citizenship requires a little more effort, but our communities are stronger because of it. Leadership begins with this citizenship. I've talked in recent posts and episodes about leadership and stewardship. I believe they begin with citizenship. Every election is an opportunity to steward something precious. The freedoms we've inherited, the communities we call home, the future we'll leave to our children and our grandchildren. Our votes don't just affect us today. They shape tomorrow. So here's my challenge this week. If you haven't already, make a plan to vote on August 4th. Watch a candidate forum. You can still watch ours on the Moberly Randolph County League of Women Voters Facebook page. Read about the constitutional amendments from multiple sources. Talk with your family. Discuss the issues respectfully with friends. Encourage someone who has never voted in a primary election to join you. Because democracy isn't something that happens somewhere else. It happens one voter at a time, one polling place at a time, one informed decision at a time. As always, thank you for spending a little time with me over coffee today. Until next time, remember to build it, protect it, and pass it on. Because preserving our democracy is one of the greatest legacies we can leave to the generations that follow. I'm Sidney Whelan, and this has been Law Days and Lattes. Please do me a favor by liking and sharing this episode with your friends and followers on social media. It truly helps more people as we build, protect, and pass it on to those we love. I'll see you next time. Until then, Have a great week, my friends.
This podcast episode contains general information for discussion purposes only. Each case is different and must be judged on its own merits. Missouri rules generally prohibit lawyers from advertising that they specialize in particular areas of the law. This show should not be construed to suggest such specialization. Nothing on this show should be taken as legal advice for any individual case or situation. This information is not intended to create an attorney-client relationship, and the listening or viewing of this podcast does not constitute an attorney-client relationship. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.